Thank you for tuning in. Today, we have a very special message for you guys from Uhuru on TV2.
Where culture meets you. If you didn't know, Uhuru means freedom in Kiswahili.
I'm Trey Walker.
And I'm Raven Fulton.
We're going to take you guys to the streets of Kent and ask people where they're from.
Everyone has similarities and differences, so we just want to get to know you guys a little bit better through Act Local, Think Global.
We really hope you guys enjoy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
Kendall Eccles.
My name's Sabit.
Kirsten.
And I'm 7.
My name is Lawrence Hudson.
Amani.
Williams.
My name is Grace. I'm Julia.
My name is Chris Schroeder.
My name is Jordan Giacono.
My name is Mazen Sarwar.
I'm Hannah. I'm Bethany.
Christian. Jordan. Trey. Travis.
Wait, your name is Trey too? My name is Trey too. What? Okay.
This is Israel Galarza III from the Cleveland, Ohio 216 area.
Of all places, why do you come to Kent?
I came to Kent because Kent has one of the, actually it's the best fashion program for those who want to study and major in fashion and want to be a part of the fashion industry.
I'm an integrative studies major, and my concentration is communication studies, Pan-African studies, and visual communication design.
Wow, that's a lot of minors.
I decided to come out here and start something new, and I like it out here. I love it. Been here for 3 years, so obviously something's right out here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brunswick, Ohio.
I'm from Wauseon, Ohio, 40 minutes west of Toledo. From West Bloomfield, Michigan.
I'm from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan.
I'm from D-Town.
Detroit?
Yes, definitely Detroit, Michigan.
We're both from a really small town near Cleveland. It's called LaGrange.
I'm from Cleveland.
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Is everything really bigger in Texas, Amani?
Yes.
And where are you guys from?
Cincinnati.
Me too.
You know, I'm from Cleveland. 614 Columbus.
No, Cleveland.
Definitely Cleveland.
So we have more Cleveland than Columbus.
I'm going to Hawaii, where I'm originally from.
Oh wow, you're originally from Hawaii?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, Kent. 330, baby.
330. What brings you guys to Kent State University?
Well, my best friend Bethany goes here. I go to OU, so.
Ooh, OU. Okay. Bobcats. Flashes. And you?
For the fashion program.
The campus is beautiful, tons of people to get to know, and I've just been happy here.
So do you guys want to give any shout outs to anyone?
My sisters, I get to see them tomorrow for the first time in like 3 months. So. Shout out to Aoife Mooney, my type professor, because she was the greatest, and I just love her.
Shout out to my mom back home.
Sure, my mom too.
Shout out to all my friends if they see this, and family, I guess, if they see this.
I'll give them Sig Tall Boys a shout out, and Kyle Mead. Howdy.
First, Detroit, Michigan. All my Detroiters out there, my parents, and my car. Can't wait to drive you when I get home.
I'll shout out to my little sister and Mariah. We should shout out to Mariah.
Shout out to our best friend Mariah.
Yeah, who's waiting for us to go eat dinner.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Trey Walker, T Killer, Gorilla, my boy D Carlton, Darius, and my boy BJ.
Shout out to all my friends back home. I'll see you when I get back, and shout out to all the friends that I've made here.
Shout out to my parents and to my girlfriend Shannon. She ends up seeing this. She'll be psyched about it.
Do a shout out to West Bloomfield, Michigan, and also to the Department of Sociology. It's been great these last 2 years.
Go sociology.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our Act Local, Think Global.
Guys, you really have to stick around because we have more for you on Uhuru on TV2.
So come back.
We're all connected in this life. Welcome back to Uhuru TV.
I'm Braylon Lee.
I'm Bernard Branner, and this is Conscious Convos.
And you know, hopefully today's debate will break down barriers, see differences, and hopefully ways to come together and be a stronger community. So.
And today we're joined with Endya Watson, Garmai Corto Matthew, Lasna Kanneh, and Andrew Pickard.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thanks for coming.
So let's get into it. This is a question for everybody. Do you think that the environment determined their mindset or the circumstances? Now, realize that the environment is slavery, plantations, and contracts when they went for a couple of years and then left.
Okay, well, I'll start this off. I'm going to say that the environment and the circumstance both had a lot to do with the mindset of people back in the day and even today still. Definitely, you know, the people in the slave plantations who incorporated the Willie Lynch letter and the type of ways and things that they dealt with, I definitely believe that their mindset was definitely influenced by the environment. But also the circumstance of being brought over here and being forced into slavery also, you know, had a lot to do with their mindset and the mindset moving forward of the people today.
When it comes to slavery, there's a lot of traumas, like what our forefathers experience coming from Africa and then coming to the New World, to the called America, and going on a lot of struggles on plantations, you know, like slavery. And that trauma within the mindset still exists, but we as young generation is to really overcome that. And though we have the stigma, like we know our forefathers experienced slavery, but we have to overcome that with hopes and set our mind on a positive way.
All right. I have a question for all of you. How important is it to know your roots?
You want me to start?
Open to the floor.
Well, it's very important, you know, as being a black person and knowing about your culture, identifying yourself with your culture, identifying yourself with your brothers and sisters. That's part, you know, our differences or whatsoever. But it's very important to know your root and where you're going. And you cannot do any other thing. That's, you know, my own personal belief. You cannot do any other thing without the support of your culture, without your backgrounds, because you are identified as a black person. There is no way that you won't be identified as a black person, because you are a black person, and you should be proud that you are a black person, and you should move with that dignity. You should move with that integrity to see how better you can go into the future. And by doing that is to connect with your root, with your culture.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree. I definitely believe that it is important to know where you've come from, but at the same time, as far as knowing your roots, just me personally, like, I feel like, you know, moving forward, it's important to know where you came from, but at the same time, you need to develop your own person and find yourself in this world. Like, we're all human. At the end of the day, we're all human. And you should be trying, and personally, I mean, I think it's more important to find your spirit yourself, to find, you know, ways to connect with other human beings, any race, any, you know, culture. I think it's important to know who you are spiritually. And I think that could be more important than where you are, you know, culturally or where you're from as far as your roots. I mean, if we look at the way I look at it, our roots all go back to one person, and that's or two people, Adam and Eve, and that's just me personally. So I do believe it is important, you know, to know where you come from and stuff, but at the same time, it's more important to know who you are and where you can take yourself and others around you.
And in doing so, by identifying yourself who you are, is your personal gift. You know, I agree with you, you know, even with the cultural background, but you have to come out as a person too, with that personal gift, with that personal talent to identify yourself.
What about you, Garmai?
Well, for me, I think everybody's story will, in fact, be different. We're all cut from different cloths. We're not all cut from the same cloth. For me, my culture defines me. My culture inspires me to do everything that I do every single day. The simple fact that I know where I'm from, where I stand firmly from, outside of America. I know if America was to, you know, go be in shambles, I would be on the next flight to West Africa, because that's home. You know, and I feel like everyone should. Where are you from again? Liberia. Liberia. By descent. I'm first generation African. So I feel as if it is important, because there's people that are grounded on something. You know, people are going home, they're eating their pasta. People are going home and they're eating their Thai food. People have a sense of self-worth, and they identify with something bigger than themselves. For me, I find it very important, because my culture is my survival instinct. If I'm hungry, I'm not buying McDonald's. I'm buying a bag of rice for $1.99 and some beans. Okay, like that's my survival instinct. So I feel like for me as an individual, culture is everything.
And what about you?
Yeah, I would really agree with what everyone's saying in terms of identifying yourself. I think that it's important to know your roots to the extent that you're not getting lost.
Right.
You definitely want to identify your roots. You definitely want to, like Andrew was saying, build your own roots, build through spirituality, that kind of thing. But you want to know something. You want to know something that you can take, something that you can say, this is me, so it's not other people telling you where you're from, you know, your roots, that kind of thing.
Because America is a melting pot, we take from different cultures. But do you think blacks have their own culture, or is it all the same?
Well, I think blacks have their own culture, and that's about where you come from. You know, like for me, I'm from Africa, and I was born in Africa. I spent, you know, my youth life as a child coming up, and coming to the United States, learning about African American culture too, and I found it to be the same. There's no similar, there's no difference here. Everything is the same. And I was so proud coming to this country, meeting my African brothers, African Americans, and so identifying myself with them, that showed that we all have the same culture. And remember that our forefathers came from Africa before coming to the Western world, and there were no black people yet, according to the U.S. history. And the first people that were here were Native Indians, and so that's part of our backgrounds, or where we found, or based on our own perceptions or experience, but we have the same culture as black people.
Very good point.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely say that I think that there's a culture. I think it might be questioned a lot because there's no distinct culture. There's no people really placing themselves in a culture, really making it concrete, really making it ours, and making it a community. But I definitely think that it's there. I think it's just about learning more about it, being more active within that culture, sharing that culture with people who don't, you know, do the things that you're thinking about doing. So I think it's just a matter of educating ourselves and really planting ourselves inside the culture.
All right, Las, I know you're a Liberian native.
Yeah.
And Garmai, I know you're a first-generation African.
Yeah.
So this question is for Endya and Andrew. Do you guys know your roots?
You know what? I don't know as much as I would like to, and I mean, it might seem a little bit hypocritical about what I just said, but I think I know the basics. I would like to know more because I think that I would, like I was saying, I would like something to identify with. I would like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I would like to talk about it. I would like to show people that I know that it's not just what I learned in history class in 8th grade or something. I think that's important to know. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know it as well as I would like to, but it's something that you need to consistently learn. It's not just something you can rely on the history books for.
So you want to know more than outside of the classroom or what you know for all the past K through 12. Interesting point.
What about
Same
you?
question for me. I don't know my roots. Just like she said, I'm someone who believes that, you know, it's important, to know where you're from, but also, like I said, my whole spiritual, you know, growth thing. So for me, knowing my roots, I really don't, and I'm not ashamed of that. I don't wish to know more or learn more. I don't take a personal, you know, interest in it. You know, it's just not something that I'm into, growing into and stuff like that. It's just not for me because I have no problem with anybody who's into it, but to me, I feel like it's all distorted. You know, history is distorted, and that's why I think it's important, what you said about archiving, making sure that the facts are written down, because everything that's written, for the most part, is just someone's perspective. That's how I look at it. If you read, you know, the American history books, and they say, everyone's like, oh, they leave out, you know, black people. But it's like, that's their perspective. It was just their perspective on what happened. And even the African American history books, that's their perspective. There might be added or taken away information for the African American books as well. So for me, it's more about, if I want to find my roots, I'll go through my grandparents and stuff like that. I really don't, you know, see much merit in going through books and stuff as far as that. That's just me personally. I understand, you know, the people have different views, but I just feel like it's all distorted.
So you feel like going to the source helps you more than the books?
Yep, definitely.
And to add to that, you know, for me, it's really frustrating when I first came to the country, learning about the culture, the food, the weather, and policy, and finding out that a lot of Africans Americans don't know that that culture, they don't know that root or where they're from, or they are not connected in some ways. But you know, though they are taking classes like African studies or whatsoever, but like you say, in a meeting with going back to your grandparents, and I see that, you know, I want to really, you have to be curious to know about things. You have to ask questions.
There's a sense of responsibility that we all have for one another.
Yeah,
we might not feel the need to personally gain information about our roots, but what about your kids? What about your lineage? What about your legacy? If you don't build your legacy or reach back and find out what came before you, you don't even know the level of greatness that came before you. And it's not even just I feel like a African thing or a black thing. If we all, as minorities, figure out the level of greatness within our cultures, it empowers us to be that much great. Like me watching the Henry Louis Gates documentary where he traced notable African Americans' roots. Me and Oprah are from the same tribe. Like me watching that and seeing that, it's like, okay, well, I guess I can just be that great or even better, you know? So things like that resonate through us.
We have to take that responsibility as black people to come together and as ourselves, what we really need to know, what we really need to get involved in, what we lacking of, what we already accomplished, and what we need to do to move forward. And by coming together is by sharing the stories. As we come together as a community, is to share the stories. So I would encourage all black people to really come together and share the stories. You know, that's part of our experience or our backgrounds.
That's a good way to end it, guys. Yeah. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I'm Braylon Lee.
I'm Bernard Branner.
And thank you for listening to Conscious Convos. And coming up next on Uhuru on TV2 is The Wake Up with Entertainment. More after this.
You're watching Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Carried locally on Time Warner Cable Channel 16 and streaming online at tv2ksu.com.
Welcome back to Uhuru on TV2. I'm Gabriel Kramer, and I'm joined by Dr. Babacar M'Baye, who's actually a Kent State professor, both in the English department and Pan-African Studies. He has a new class this coming fall called Reading Africa Through Film. Now tell me a little bit about the course and what this offers students here at Kent State.
The course is an in-depth analysis of 4 different things. The first thing that we're going to be looking at in the course is the history of the films made about people of African descent and produced in Africa or from the black diaspora. And when we talk about the black diaspora, we're talking about all those countries, or many of them, outside of Africa, where you find people of African descent. So what we're going to be looking at is the ways in which filmmakers from those different locations, starting with Africa, have really explored the history of human rights in Africa and also in the black diaspora, and also the ways in which they've looked at within the context of human rights, issues such as gay rights, such as gender rights, sexual equality, gender equality, such as respect for the elders, you know, and the different other rights, ageism, for example, you know, all these sorts of discriminations and stereotypes. Another major aspect we're going to be looking at, which is the third one, is how filmmakers have represented Africa through their films, but also how they've employed specific techniques. You know, for example, the use of light, the use of images, metaphors. Now, the fourth thing that I really wanted to mention is the ways in which the class is also going to be looking at the relations between black and third world films. You know, so when we talk about the third world, we're talking about societies that are non-Western. We're also going to be looking at how African filmmakers or African third world filmmakers look at history, look at societies in ways that are quite similar.
So this course, while it's reading Africa through film, it should appeal to multiple audiences, considering you're going over a bunch of diverse groups, and it's not just African Americans making movies. This is the whole world coming together in this course.
It's appropriate to say that this film, in this class, the whole world comes together. The reason why we can say that, in addition to what we just talked about, is the fact that the film looks at cross-national and cross-cultural influences. You know, a lot of people don't know how American popular culture, American Western movies, right, have influenced African cinema, have influenced Caribbean cinema, you know, and have even influenced French cinema. You know, these different cinemas looking at, you know, the experiences of people of African descent.
Your passion for film, where does that come from?
My passion for films comes from my growing up in Senegal, because I came to this country in about 1995. But I remember once watching the cowboy films and screaming, and one of my aunts is still making jokes at me every time I go back home, telling me that, you know, reminding me of how scared I was when I was young. And then when I moved to the United States and became a graduate student, I took a number of courses, including 3 that I remember. One of them was called International Communications, you know, and it really sparked my interest in media. That class. I mean, like what constitutes media, what's news, and then the next class was cultural communications. You know, and I had a professor, you know, Dr. Churchill, who really just kind of showed me the meaning of films in America. So I think just looking at film as historical documents, films as sociological documents, I think really inspired me to really want to know more about this media, and also to see how it operates in the same way, but from African context.
What is it about Kent State? What is it about the student body that this class is important and should pertain to this group here in Northeast Ohio?
I think, like, first we could say that by taking this class, Kent State students will have the opportunity to really take the kinds of courses and expand on their knowledge of some of the topics that really I would encourage every student to know about before they get to the current job market. You know, for example, being a global citizen, right, or much of a greater global citizen, by knowing more about the rest of the world, you know, by knowing more about, like, the history of people from various nations, people from various cultures, and also just like for practical reasons, because right now we need to teach diversity in a broader way, and knowing diversity in a broader way, in a more larger way, includes knowing about cultures around the world.
For students here at Kent State, does it seem like knowledge of diversity and cultural differences, do you think that knowledge needs to be improved campus-wide?
Absolutely. I think, like, the students here are doing a great job at promoting diversity in so many different forms. But such promotions of diversity could be expanded. You know, there's always room for improvement, right, for all of us. And I think, and that is actually for that reason that you know, myself and also other colleagues of mine here at Kent State University are thinking about broadening our course offerings, you know, at making them more international, at making them more global, for many reasons, including the fact that Kent State is becoming more and more international, you know, more diverse, you know, in every single sense. So it's almost like, you know, by just always catching up with the rest. You know, I'm always catching up. I always want to catch up with, for example, what's happening in terms of scholarship at Yale, at Harvard, you know. I mean, because I consider Kent State to be as good as Yale or Harvard.
Well, thank you very much. This is Dr. Babacar M'Baye. He's teaching Reading Africa Through Film. There's a course on cinemas of Africa and the Black diaspora that's offered this fall and possibly for semesters to come.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We'll have more Uhuru on TV2 right after this.
Welcome back to Uhuru on TV2.
You know, Raven, there were a lot of things that happened this year, and I didn't get anything on camera.
Really?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we have a semester recap.
Say hi.
Student leaders gathered in Oscar Ritchie Hall for the annual open house. This event was orchestrated by the Center of Pan-African Culture, which was founded in 1970 by the Black United Students. CPAC provides the opportunity and the facilities for the exposition of the art forms: painting, sculpture, oral and written literature, music, dance, theater, and other cultural modes of expression that define people of African descent. Minority student leaders in organizations such as the Collegiate Business Association, the Native American Student Association, Black United Students, Modista, and More Line Dance took photos at the Uhuru photo booth. Web editor Garmai Matthew introduces the event and welcomes incoming freshmen.
Hello, freshmen, and everybody else who's transferring to the Golden Flag.
African Night in the Kent State Ballroom was full of dancing, good foods from all over Africa, and live performances. Kent State's Ike Dance Group showed off their best moves front, stage, and center. Kent State Greeks from the National Pan-Hellenic Council show off their best strolls and routines at the Phi Beta Sigma Greek Stroll-Off during Sigma Week in the Cartwright Hall Auditorium. The brothers of Iota Phi Theta took home the win. The Centaurs won Best Stroll that evening. The devastating divas of Delta Sigma Theta sorority stepped and strolled onto the student green during NPHC week. The sun was blaring, but these devastating divas truly brought the heat. New members of Zeta Phi Beta stroll in unison at their probate in Michael Schwartz Auditorium. These pretty ladies truly represented their organization with class and enthusiasm. CPAC student leaders hit the stage in the Kent State Ballroom to accept awards for their academic and student involvement accomplishments. KSU students showcased their talents ranging from singing, interpretive dancing, to spoken word.
Come to somebody to love me.
The Ebony Achievement Awards is hosted and orchestrated by Black United Students with the help of other vital CPAC organizations. Kent State students gathered on the student green for live performances. Artists from all over Ohio showcased their talents to the Kent State student body during the Epic Concert Collective. Ike Dance Group brought the rhythm and the beat while performing their awesome modern African dance routine to the latest African mixes. Legacy Dance Team shut down the stage to today's biggest tracks. Top Dog Entertainment member Ab Soul graced the stage on the student green with his poetic demeanor and California swagger. There was plenty of food, games, and a crowd of students all over the student green in honor of the long-awaited Flash Fest. The Kent State Mini Makers Fair took place in the Kent State Library. From hand-knitted scarves to 3D models, the Mini Makers Fair was a place all visionaries wanted to be. The Mini Makers Fair was truly a place where students and small business owners could share their ideas and show off their skills.
Thank you for tuning in to our special presentation on Uhuru on TV2.
Again, I'm Raven Fulton.
And I'm Trey Walker.
Be sure to check out our social media at Uhuru Mag and check us out at kentwire.com.
From everybody here at Uhuru and TV2, have a great night.
You're watching Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Carried locally on Time Warner Cable Channel 16 and streaming online at tv2ksu.com.